So this is a short video to show you how to install Cisco Packet Tracer on a Windows machine. We downloaded this file from Cisco. So if you right click on that and say run as administrator, you get a warning message, but we know this from Cisco, so we accept that. And then the installation starts. And so I accept the terms and I accept the agreement, click next, and then this is the application you're going to install. So just use the defaults. And if you want a quick launch from the start menu, you add that one as well, and then click next, then the installation starts. Okay, and when that completes, you will see the setup wizard completes the installation. We say finish, then it will load Packet Tracer. And we use in multi-user, and when the application starts, we want to be used by multi-users, so we can have okay. You might get another message that says, do you want to allow public and private networks to access this app? And so when you are connected to your network, that's not a problem. So we say allow. Now we have this application. So let's see, it takes really quick to install, but I just want to quickly go through the things we need for the first few lessons. And you have the file. For example, if I want to save a file, file, save, or if you want to open a project you saved, what's important is save as PKT. That's what we will use, but just save the file will take you the naming of the file and PKT or packet tracer. So let's say demo test, let's say demo, and then save. We save it, maybe documents, or maybe you can create a new folder, so test files. That's a file now saved. Now if you want to open a file, you can say file open and then go to a directory, and you can see that is already there. This is how we're going to submit assignments. Save the file and send me this packet tracer file so I can check the configurations. If you want to build the topology here, you have network devices, you have end devices, you have other components, the cabling, and other things. So if we start with networking, at the bottom you have routers, and then you have the switches and other things. If you click on the routers, in our lab, we will use different routers. So at the moment, if I take 1841, just click on it, drag and drop it here. Then whatever the router is called, you can click on there and name it. So if we call router 1, let's click on there, and then R1, router 1. If you grab another router and just put next to it, and that router, we name it again, and we call it R2. Now we've got two routers. And if we want some switches, we also have the switching in the network devices. You have switches here, and we might use 2960. We will grab one over here, and then maybe another one over here. If we need some computers, then we click on end devices. So end devices, okay. Then we can bring the end devices, a PC or anything, or a laptop over here and connect them. Let's click on the cabling. If we want to connect a switch to a router, we use a straight through. So we'll click on there and then choose the first interface on the switch and connect to maybe the first interface of the fast Ethernet on the router. Now you see the interfaces are red. That means they're shut down. But if I want to connect the other switch direct, or if I want to connect a computer directly to a router, I will use a different cable like crossover here, but we still have a switch, so we need to use the same straight through, different cabling for different devices. Please understand that. Between the routers, I want to connect them using a serial cable, which is over here. One has a clock and the other one doesn't have. The one that sets the clock will have the clock. And so if we go to here, you see the physical device here, it has no slots in here. It doesn't have any card here. It's an empty slot. and it's powered on. If it's powered on, you cannot insert a card here. So we have to first switch it off, then grab WIC2T, one interface card 2T, and this is empty. We're not putting anything. I just want to install a cover. Then I can switch it on again. That one's done. If I now get the cable and click on this, you see I have a serial 00 or serial 001. If I select the first one, that's fine. But for the second one, we haven't built the interface yet. So it doesn't appear here. And you cannot connect to fast Ethernet because different cable. So it will reject. What we're going to do, cancel that, go back to the router, switch it off, get the WIC2T, and cover the empty slots, then power it on. Now close that. If you go back to the cabling, you have the serial 00 and you have the other serial 0 here. Now we built a basic topology. When you complete that, there are two things you need to do. One is if you have configuration on the router, you click on here, and if you go to CLI, you might find the command line, the fonts quite small. So what you do is go back to the options, create preference, go to preferences, and from the preferences, go to fonts, and in the CLI, it's only 8 here. I'd like to go up to 11 and then apply and close that window. Now, if you click on the router, you see the font says bigger. Just change it however you feel comfortable. And if when you boot the machine first time, it loads the OS and then it takes you to initial configuration dialog. We don't want to go through that. We say no. And after that, we can name the router. So we say enable to change the enable. We will explain this in the class. And then we go to the configuration one and session. So we say configure terminal. Then we can name this router and call it hostname R1. The display was R1, like if you have a label on top of the device, but inside the device configuration, you also need the name. So that is now changed. If I need to exit and power off this machine, then there will be a problem. That name will not last. So what happens, what's important is that you save. How do we save? If we say copy running config to the startup config. And again, we will explain startup config. We'll explain all this in the class. Now that's saved. If I exit and exit, yeah, and that one's all good. And you can see again, this router also has the CLI. And if we go to a dialog, we say no. And then if we go to enable, we can shorten just the EN and then go to configure terminal. We can say config T, short again, and then host name. If you click tab, it completes the command. Host name, this is R2. And if I exit, and then if I say copy, run, start, it's same as saying copy running config, startup config. Now I can exit, okay, and that you can close. The interfaces are still red because we didn't configure them. But this is just to show you how to install packet tracer on your laptop or PC and then just build a basic topology. This is now saved in the configuration, but as a file we haven't. I can save this one with a different name and topology test and demo topology and then save in the same location. Now you can close the file. I will ask you again to save it. That's already good. We know we have saved everything. Close, and that's all. Thank you very much.